Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Many of you guys are very familiar now with my take on this Florida Gators program heading into 2024. And my kind of take is that this is one of the more intriguing programs across the country heading into the fall of 2024. And it's not necessarily because I'm getting up here and saying that I think Florida wins an SEC title and makes the college football playoffs, but I think it's more intriguing because this team in 2024 has the opportunity to take a massive step in the right direction and really put themselves in a prime spot to compete for a conference championship in 2025. But that's all contingent on Billy Napier being the head coach heading into the 2025 season. I want to dive into the conversation regarding what do we need to see from this Florida Gators program in 2024 to make us confident that Billy Napier is the right man for the job heading into 2025. I think we're all going to just put on our athletic director hats, talk about what we need to see from this program. I would love to hear from you guys in the comment section. Before we do, and as always, just want to say thank you to you guys and to the Florida Gator fans. It's been a blast talking this program, transfer portal, recruiting trail. The amount of support y'all continue to show, it truly does mean a lot. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Much more importantly, in the best way to get a vibe from the fan base is just hearing from you guys, the people who live and breathe Florida Gators football. I would love to hear from y'all in terms of what the record needs to be for Florida, or just what do you need to see from this Florida program to kind of make you believe that Billy Napier is the right man for the job heading into 2025. It's no secret that Billy Napier's seat is certainly hot as the head coach of this Florida Gators program. Let me know in the comments below. We'll chop it up. And without further ado, I'll give you guys, kind of some of my thoughts on this. And I think it starts with, I'm not necessarily concerned regarding what the record is for this Florida Gators program. And I don't want that to get misconstrued. If it is a 3-9 season, Billy Napier's out as Florida Gators head coach. I don't think anybody's going to argue against that. I think what I'm trying to get at is I care a little bit more about what this program looks like during Saturdays in the fall than what the record says at the end of November for this Florida Gators program. And I guess why I am kind of in that boat is, one, we know this schedule is very difficult, but you look at that 2025 season, you look at this roster is constructed to kind of peak in 2025 and in 2026. Billy Napier is building this thing from the ground up. Now, you want to see some things that are drastically different from what we saw in 2023. I want to get into some of those things. One is the eyeball test. Is this Florida team looking like it is becoming a winning program under Billy Napier? That is one of the reasons that Florida went out and hired Billy Napier in the first place. He's a winner. He established a winning culture in Louisiana. You brought him into Florida to kind of establish that culture in Gainesville. But I think the problem is, especially in the 2023 year, you did not see that winning culture take place. I mean, the amount of mistakes that cost this Florida program games in 2023, it's unacceptable. And at a certain point, it doesn't matter the talent that you are bringing in. If you are making those critical mistakes that lose you football games, you're not going to be competing for SEC championships. Now, I think there's a couple of reasons to talk about why we think that changes. One, this roster was extremely young. It had a new starting quarterback in Graham Mertz coming over from Wisconsin, a really young defensive coordinator in Austin Armstrong, and a young defense. There were some reasons that you saw some of those problems. But if you're a Florida fan, those need to get fixed. I mean, you're talking about going off sides on a 4th and short, forcing you to punt the football. You're talking about having too many men on the field or wearing the same jersey number on a special teams play, giving the team an extra set of downs. Talk about going off sides on a 4th and short on defense, giving teams extra set of downs. Those type of plays, they lose you football games. You got to see that change first. And if it doesn't change, I think a lot of Florida fans are saying, hey, we don't care how talented this roster is. You're not going to be able to win SEC championships playing like that. The margins are just too small. So I think one is the eyeball test. Does this team seemingly limit those mistakes and start, and start playing winning football in 2024? That's number one. I think the second thing is, what does the young talent development look like? This is something that Billy Napier obviously was not satisfied with. That's why you saw the coaching changes that Billy Napier made. Let's start on the offensive side of the football. A couple of guys that I'm certainly going to have my eyes on, where you think you're going to play good in 2024, but you want to see them taking those steps where you kind of believe they're going to be difference makers for this program in 2025. And I think the number one guy is true freshman DJ Lagway. Now, DJ Lagway is probably not going to be the starter for this Florida Gators program year one because you have Graham Mertz. Similar to what Michigan did with J.J. McCarthy, I think you're going to see a lot of DJ Lagway. I think he's just too talented to keep off the field. So you're going to see a lot of DJ Lagway. And what you need to see from DJ Lagway is, hey, is he a quarterback that in 2025, when he has a very, very talented wide receiver room around him, guys like Eugene Wilson, Andy Jean, Aiden Mizell, Tank Hawkins, all will be back in 2025. Is he a quarterback that can go out and win you an SEC championship game? Now, you guys know how I feel about DJ Lagway. If there's one quarterback that I am most high on from that 2024 cycle, it is DJ Lagway. I think not only does he have all the physical traits that you are looking for, I think he's wired the right way. I think he's a winner. He did that at the high school level. That's probably priority number one. If this team goes 5-7, misses a bowl game, but you see a lot of good things from DJ Lagway, I think a lot of Florida fans are saying, all right, give Billy Napier one more year with the guy, his crown jewel from the recruiting class in 2024. I think a couple other guys that you're looking for on the offensive side of the football, one, some of the young talent on the offensive line, guys like Najee Harris. Are they looking to become, starting caliber offensive linemen in the 2024 season? I think you saw Florida have one of the worst offensive lines in the SEC last year. Billy Napier can't win with what he wants to do on offense with the lack of offensive line development that you saw. I think a lot of that had to do with the personnel and just not having a deep enough tackle room. I think we're all much higher on this offensive line heading into 2024, but you need to see that offensive line development take place. A couple other guys that I'd certainly have my eyes on. We know what Eugene Wilson is. What does Andy Jean look like? What does Aiden Mizell look like? Again, whether this team goes 7-5 or 5-7, if this team goes 7-5, but you're not seeing the offensive talent kind of get developed, I think the questions are still there for Billy Napier. But if this team even goes 5-7, misses a bowl game, I know that'll be disappointing for Florida fans. And maybe some of you disagree with that, which I think is completely okay. I think in my mind, I'm more concerned with what do these young guys look like heading into 2025, because those are the years that we expect them to be difference makers. I think you have a lot of the same questions on the defensive side of the football as well. You look at the line of scrimmage play. You bring in, I think they crushed the hire with Chapman coming over from Tulane. You look at guys like Kelby Collins or TJ Searcy or Cameron James or even true freshman LJ McCray. What do those guys look like on the defensive line? Are those guys setting up to be difference makers in 2025? Are you seeing that kind of development take place? Again, if you are, I think you are leaning towards keeping Billy Napier running it back in 2025. But I think if you don't see the steps from those guys on the defensive line, those are some more question marks that you have regarding Billy Napier. And I think the last conversation you got to have is, what does this team look like down the stretch, specifically after that bye week on October 26th? You're playing Georgia. You go on the road to Texas. You get LSU and Ole Miss at home. You go on the road to Florida State. Five of those teams, are college football playoff caliber programs. And I think what you're looking at with those games is, hey, even if we're not winning all five of those games, are we looking like a program that can beat those teams given one more year development with our young roster? And again, even if you go 1-4 in that slate, but you look like you are a team that can start winning those football games, I think you're leaning towards keeping Billy Napier. Now, on the flip side, if you play those 5 games, you don't look nearly competitive enough, and it doesn't look like even in 2025 you'll be able to hang with some of these programs. Again, the conversations regarding Billy Napier and the future of Florida certainly come into question. And so I guess I'm going all the way to say, I think a lot of the national media talk shows will talk about what is the record for Florida and Billy Napier. And I'm not saying wins and losses don't matter. They certainly do. But for this particular instance, I think it matters a heck of a lot more in terms of what this Florida team looks like as opposed to what their record says. If they are looking like they are taking steps in the right direction, Billy Napier's building towards 2025, even if this team goes 5-7 and DJ Lagway looks like he can be a guy that wins you a lot of football games in 2025, I think a lot of Florida fans are saying, all right, give Billy Napier one more year to see if he can finally put it together. But if it just doesn't look like this program takes any steps in the right direction, I think that's when the conversation regarding Billy Napier and his future at Florida certainly start to heat up. I would love to hear from you guys in the comment section. Again, I get the best feel from the fan base just from listening to you guys and chopping it up. Hit me in the comment section. We'll chop it up down there. Appreciate y'all rocking with the fellas. If you guys do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Appreciate you guys, and we'll talk to y'all later.